You know, when you scroll online, you see all these like super detailed, perfect daily
Oh
routines.
yeah, the 5 a.m. starts, the kale smoothies, the hour of meditation.
Exactly. And you kind of wonder, are we missing something? Is there some secret code?
It's a common feeling. And actually, that's just what our source for this dive gets into. It's a segment from the English Dose podcast.
Well, okay.
Yeah, and they explore this whole idea of the myth of that one size fits all perfect routine.
Right. So for this deep dive, we're trying to figure out, based on their insights, does that ideal routine actually exist? Or is it more about finding what truly works for you?
Yeah.
You know, something sustainable, even if life is, well, busy.
And the English Dose podcast, they basically say straight up
Yeah.
that universal perfect routine, it's just not real.
Okay. Why not?
Well, they point to a couple of things. Like we all have different internal clocks, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes called chronotypes.
Uh-huh. Like early birds and night owls.
Exactly. And our energy levels, they naturally, dip and rise during the day.
Yeah.
Trying to force yourself into a routine that fights your body's rhythm, it usually just leaves you feeling, well, drained.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I've definitely tried the whole become a morning person thing. Never really stuck for me.
See, so if there's no magic formula, what does the source say makes a routine, good?
Good question.
Their main point is that a good routine is one that helps you find focus, find balance, and be productive. It's really personal.
So deeply individual.
Totally. What's brilliant for one person could be like completely useless for someone else.
Okay, personalization is key then. But did the podcast mention any common threads, any elements that tend to show up in effective routines, even if they're personalized?
Oh, definitely. A really big one they highlighted was consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah, think of it like compound interest for your habits. Small things done daily, they build up.
So little efforts add up over time.
Exactly. It's not just checking a box. It builds momentum, becomes automatic almost. And the results can be, well, surprisingly big down the line.
That makes a lot of sense. It feels less daunting than, huge changes all at once. What else did they bring up?
Intentional time. That was another big one.
Intentional time. What does that mean exactly?
It means consciously deciding to set aside specific blocks of time for things that matter to you.
Like learning or exercise.
Yeah, or even just rest. Making sure you actually schedule recovery time. Because if you don't actively schedule it,
Life just fills in the gaps, right?
spot on. Those important things often get pushed aside.
Okay. But what happens when, life does happen, when things inevitably go off track?
Right, and that's where flexibility comes in. That's crucial.
Ah, okay.
The source really emphasized that. Your routine, it shouldn't be so rigid that the first unexpected meeting or, sick day makes the whole thing collapse.
Needs a bit of give and take.
Exactly. You need room to adapt, adjust, without feeling like a failure because you missed one thing.
Got it. So not super strict rules. And did they say anything about checking in on the routine itself?
They did. Reflection. That was the other key element.
Reflection.
Yeah, just regularly taking a moment to think, okay, what's actually working here? What isn't serving me anymore? Being willing to tweak things based on your own experience, that's vital for making it last.
That makes sense. Now, one thing I thought was interesting, the English Dose podcast, they specifically tied this routine idea to language learning, English learning.
Mm-hmm. They did. They gave some really practical, small examples.
Great what?
Things like listening to an English podcast while you eat lunch,
Mm-hmm.
or spending just 5 minutes doing shadowing, repeating after a native speaker to practice pronunciation.
Oh, okay. Little things.
Yeah. Or reading just one page of a book in English each day, or even like talking to yourself in English while you do chores.
Huh, yeah, I could see doing that. Those all sound really manageable, actually, even if you have a crazy schedule.
Totally. And it really drives home that point they made about consistent, focused effort being better than, say, one massive, infrequent study session.
Daily effort over marathon sessions. Got it.
Precisely. So weaving it into your day.
Hmm.
So, okay, let's circle back. Our big question. Does the perfect daily routine actually exist?
Well, based on what we've heard from the English Dose podcast, it seems like the answer is pretty clearly no.
Right.
At least not in that perfect, idealized, one-size-fits-all version we see everywhere.
And this is the important part the source stressed.
Yeah.
A personalized routine, one that fits your needs, your goals, your energy.
That's possible.
Absolutely. Not just possible, but really beneficial.
Yeah, the podcast seemed quite positive about that. Finding your own rhythm, keeping it simple, that leads to sustainable growth.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself as you figure out what works.
Experiment a little.
Yeah. Focus on building that consistency, even with tiny actions. And just remember, those regular personalized steps, they really do add up. They can lead to significant progress over time, and you can fit them into even the busiest life.